Hey folks, today we're talking about good old TR again, but we're not talking about the usual hot lick stuff. Instead, we're taking a look at Tony's more progressive side with 4 things you can steal from Manzanita. Not that Manzanita. That's the one. For a lot of us, our first experiences with Tony Rice would have come from his time with J.D. Crowe and that quintessential version of Old Home Place. That J.D. album, Rounder 0044 for all you nerds out there, comes out in 1975, but just 4 years later, Tony is putting out Manzanita. These albums are incredibly different, so was there a logical progression? For some reason, to a lot of people, the 70s is Bluegrass Tony, and the 80s is Progressive Tony, plus Bluegrass Album Band. And that's just not true. Just looking at Tony's discography from 1975 to 1980, we can see an incredible amount of diversity and just how fast he was thrown into more of a progressive role on the guitar. In 75, he releases the J.D. album and the solo album California Autumn, which are both rooted in tradition. In 76, he appears on David Grisman's Rounder record, which is a very bluegrass-oriented album. Grisman keeps Tony around, which means in 77 he's doing jazz fusion on the David Grisman Quintet album and releasing the solo album Tony Rice. He finishes out the next 3 years releasing Acoustics, Manzanita, and Mar West with the Tony Rice unit, Hot Dog with Grisman, and finally a return to bluegrass on the album Skaggs and Rice. So in short, an incredible bluegrass musician releases this instant classic record, and then joins a jazz bluegrass fusion group and starts releasing his own brand of acoustic fusion. But enough history. Let's break down 4 things you can steal from Tony's iconic Manzanita, so that way next week, when I release a video all about playing this song with a band, you'll be ready. So you're no doubt familiar with the 5-note pentatonic scale. To make a pentatonic scale, we get rid of the 4th and the 7th from a major scale, or the 2nd and the 6th from a minor scale. If you want to get into why that is, you can check out my video, What Scales Do I Use for Bluegrass? Now, to make a standard 6-note hexatonic scale, we're going to remove the 7th from the major scale, or the 6th from the minor scale. You can think of these hexatonic scales as having the versatility of the pentatonic scale, but a little more of that melodic capability of the major or minor scale. In the case of Manzanita, we definitely have a minor attitude going on. The tonic is D, so Tony's using D minor hexatonic for this. That scale looks and sounds like this. And you can see just how easily that becomes the main riff of the song. If you want to take this into your own playing, remember that the hexatonic scale is a great option for more melodic sounding passages. It's useful for a lot of fiddle tunes. If you ever need to find a hexatonic scale, you just want to find that parent major or minor scale. You want to remove the 6th for a minor scale. You want to remove the 7th for a major scale. Continuing further into Manzanita, we'll hit the second half of the A part melody, and that sounds like this. This may seem more or less the same as what we've seen before, but there's actually a couple things that make it different. Let me show you them. The note choice is still mostly in that D minor hexatonic scale, but now it looks a lot more like A minor pentatonic. That's probably because Tony's playing over an A minor chord. Here's the A minor pentatonic position he's probably thinking of. So thinking of it from the perspective of A minor pentatonic, that one different note, it starts making a lot of sense. To change an A minor pentatonic scale to an A minor blues scale, we add one note, the flat 5th degree. And that note is the note Tony is adding to his A minor pentatonic shape in this line. If this example seems familiar to you, you probably recognize it from my How to Play Minor Licks Like Tony Rice video. Now, if we want to steal this for our own playing, here's what we should remember. If we're playing a song in a minor key and the 5 chord comes up and it's minor too, we can use the 5 chords minor blues scale to create a line. Alright, our next thing worth noting is the vamp. What is a vamp? It's a repeated piece of music that ends after some form of cue. They're very common in musical theater, but they appear in other genres too. The vamp in Manzanita sounds like this. The vamp is built of a short line that continues to reestablish that D bass note, which is just an unchanging bass note. And then above that on our highest string set, we're getting 2 repeated chords, and they're F and G. That may seem a little bit surprising to you. If not, here's a little bit of theory. So every minor key has a parallel major key, and every major key has a parallel minor key. Take, for instance, F major and D minor. They're parallel buddies. They're made of the same notes, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E. Now, most bluegrass players are used to thinking of things in terms of major, so maybe this will help you visualize just a little bit. The major chords in F are 1, 4, and 5, right? Or F, B flat, and C. So how did we end up with a G major in our vamp? Well, there's a couple ways to see the answer. From more of a scale perspective, the difference between a G major chord and a G minor chord is a B natural or a B flat. A D minor scale is supposed to have a B flat in it, but it seems like this song can't decide between B flat and B natural, so an ambiguous 6th degree could be our answer. From more of a chord perspective, major keys have stronger resolutions than minor keys. Functionally, major just happens to work better. That's why even though A minor would naturally appear in the key of D minor, it feels very nice to hear an A major chord resolve to D minor. I've borrowed a major chord from the major key. So in D major, 1, 4, and 5 is D, G, and A major. In D minor, 1, 4, and 5 is D minor, G minor, and A minor. With a little bit of careful consideration, we can swap the A minor for an A major, or like in this song, the G minor for a G major. So this is some real simple mode mixture. We didn't like the options in minor, Aeolian, so instead we borrowed from major, Ionian. It happens a lot, and a lot in bluegrass. Also, I know someone out there is about to say, "Hey Marcel, you're dumb, this song is in Dorian." Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that some of this song is in Dorian, but I really don't think that's the way Tony is thinking of it, and no matter what, there are moments of B flat in this song and B major in this song, so it's only going to be Dorian sometimes. In any case, if thinking of it in Dorian, D Dorian does help you, please do that. Alright, let's finish off with something a little bit easier, yeah? There's a lot of different chords in Manzanita, and those chords being played with your low E string tuned down to D is even more fun. Oh, I didn't mention that Manzanita is in drop D. It is. So I think it's worth looking at the basics first. The good news is D minor is the same. The bad news is that F and G, the way that Wyatt Rice, Tony's brother, normally plays them, are a little different. Here's those 3 chords. So when we're in drop D, any part of a chord that would appear on that low E string just has to be moved up 2 frets. Using that information, you should be able to work out any other chords that you ever come across while you're tuned in drop D. Manzanita does have some other interesting chords and rhythms, but I'm going to cover that in next week's video when I'm going to be talking about how you can play this song with a band and how you can arrange the song, how you can deal with that kind of confusing form and everything else like that. So if you like taking a lesson from the biggest, baddest Billy Goat in the barnyard, there's a couple things you can do. Of course, you can scroll down, you can leave a comment, you can like this video, you can subscribe to this channel. You can find me on those 3 big places online. After that, I do have the Instagram account, Jazz and Grass, where I post a bluegrass lick every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on those days that I don't post, a jazz lick gets posted by my buddy Lyman Lipke. I recently posted a couple electric telly licks. That's right, I'm doing some country stuff too. It's much different than what happens on this channel. If there's one more thing you want to check out, you should probably check out my website, lessonswithmarcel.com. It's where you can find a bunch of free stuff, a little bit of stuff you can buy, and of course, you can sign up for Skype lessons. So yeah, I'll see you next week.